Father, we just come to you and we thank you for an opportunity to gather together in your name. We thank you for the privilege of being a part of your kingdom and of being a part of advancing that kingdom all over different places of the world, here and abroad. And so we offer ourselves to you and we say, may your kingdom come and will be done in our lives today, here on the earth, as it is in heaven. Amen. You know, it wasn't very long ago, and I had gone to bed. I'm in a bit of a stone room with a thatch roof, and I'm under my mosquito netting, and I'm just kind of going to sleep, and it's kind of quiet. But then all of a sudden, and I'm thinking, oh snap! I just lost one of my waitress or the housekeeper, one. And it ends up, I grabbed my sword and I grabbed my, there he goes again. And I grabbed my sword and I grabbed my rungu and I got to the front, to the little door, and I opened the door and I'm like, wait a minute, what am I going to do next? And so it started getting a little bit aware of that I was about to do something really stupid. But I was really concerned. I don't know if I'd have felt better if I'd had 3 stones in a sling, but right about that time, one of the rangers came by, and he pointed out the fact that it was actually a greater kudu. But it sounded to me like a cat, like a lion, or we have a lot of leopard. So I just thought I would introduce myself by telling a little story about what some of my nights are like. I'm John Kellogg, and I'm really excited that you all are here. I serve as the director of Break the Cycle Global, and tonight is going to be fun. It's going to be some updates. There's a lot that has happened in this last year. So I'm going to run through that fairly quickly because we have a special guest tonight and a special announcement of a new partnership that the Lord has brought together. And so we want to have time for that. So I wanted to take a minute and introduce my wife, Jan. I think most of you know her. If you could stand up, love her. She has hurt her knee, so she's not going to come up on the stage. But you know, a lot of times I think people, they think when they think of the ministry or what's going on, they think of me because I'm over in Kenya. But the reality is there's been someone left behind, and that's Jan. She's been a caregiver for her parents these last 10 years. And so it's kind of like a military spouse where she's been left for months and months at a time. This year for 8 months. But we're believing God wills in February she'll be going back with me, and she actually has a temporary resident visa, so she can stay for 3 years and help teach and work in the school. And then just in regards to that, my paperwork's done, and I should, in the next few weeks, end up with my permanent residence, so that it just means I can't vote and serve in the military, but that's, not real consequential to me in Kenya. So I wanted to start out, right now, real quickly, I just wanted to share that right now is a time when there's just a lot of craziness going on in the world. And you don't have to look far. In fact, you look in our country and it's enough to make your head kind of tip over. But then we see what's going on in Israel and just lots of countries all around the world. And one of the challenges I see is that I see some people ending up in a position where they're just paralyzed by trying to process everything that's going on. And even in some instances, it's like it's not, they're listening to people online that are saying, well, if this happens and this happens, then it's probably World War III and this is going on. And we just end up becoming sort of paralyzed, like, what do I do? And so I just want to encourage us. The Lord reminded me because, I work in the bush in Kenya and then in a slum. And it's like with everything going on in the world, is this really that important? I mean, is this what I need to be doing? And the Lord brought to mind sort of a military picture where, in the military, there are only a few people at the top, isn't it? Like colonels and generals and that. And they have a broad view. They're looking at the whole situation and making those kind of decisions. But then quickly you go down and it's smaller and smaller territories or things that people are over. And you get down to infantry. And then it's really, I don't remember the percentage, but it's huge. Like, is it 70% or something of the people that it's only 30% say that are on the front lines, and everybody else is support roles, making bullets, making uniforms, doing something. The point out of all of that is I want to encourage us to understand what is our assignment. If I know what my assignment is, it may be to stitch a uniform. It may be to be a mom raising my children right now, or a pastor, or a financial advisor. But if we understand from the Lord, this is your assignment, and we put our focus there, and with the intentionality that we're advancing His kingdom, right? That's at the end of the day, our purpose is to advance His kingdom, no matter what all this noise that's going on. So I found that as I was asking him about that, he's like, John, I love the people where you're working, and I need for you to be the one to be engaged. That's your assignment. So it's not for you to try to figure out all the rest of what's going on. Understand your assignment and how to do the best that you can do in that. So I encourage you, there's a place of peace, of confidence, when we know what our assignment is and we're being about that. So tonight, part of what we want to share is what that assignment looks like for us, and then it's an invitation for you to join us in it at some level. I know that for most folks, it's not reasonable to expect that they're going to necessarily come and live and work in the bush, but you can certainly be a part. The only reason that we're able to do the things we are is because we have a lot of partners on this side that are supporting it in prayer. Some are coming, and then financially. So I think that, again, I just encourage us that we can know what is our assignment. Now what I'd like to do is we're going to do a quick Google Earth to show you where we're at and what Kenya looks like. So this is going from Raleigh, and we're in the jet. In fact, I just landed last Tuesday, so I haven't been here quite a week. And Kenya is on the East Coast, kind of like North Carolina is in the U.S. And as we zoom in, Nairobi is where the international airport is. And that's where we have a school in Mathare Mabatini. Mabatini stands for 10. So you'll see as we get close, all the 10 roofs. That's the slum, or informal settlement, as people will call it. And then we have a work, we have a work in Usangi, which is on Lake Victoria. We're not going to spend a lot of time speaking about that tonight, but some really amazing work going on there. And now we'll go back up north. So Nairobi is 2 degrees south of the equator, and Samburu, where I live and most of our work, my focus right now is 2 degrees north of the equator in an area called Samburu. And now we're zooming into Nkari Naishu, which in Kisamburu means living water. And that's the name of the mission center. So you can see the outline of our 5 acres that we just believe this year is the year we're going to really begin developing and putting in water and solar, and then build some school buildings. Now we're just going down the road. This is where I've been living, in this little manyatta with a man named Isaiah. And so no water, no power. The latrine came a couple years after I started living there. And then this is the lodge area that we've talked about this last year. We've had an opportunity to help. This is a corridor for the wildlife. So the elephants and the lions and leopards and buffalo and everything kind of travel through this area. And so a way to help this community was to respond when they asked us to help them with the lodge. So the Lord brought together a couple groups, a conservation group that put up the money. I really represented and worked with the community in that process. What I'd like to do now, if you look at the screen, we're going to take a short ride in my old Land Rover, and you're going to be introduced to some of our leadership there, and it'll just kind of get you in country.
Hi, I'm John Kellogg, serving as the director of Break the Cycle Global. So glad you could join me for a few minutes. And what I'd like to do is take you on a little ride. Now, hang on, it's a bit bumpy out here in Samburu, but we're going to a leadership conference, and I want to introduce you to 4 of the leaders that God has given us to help advance the kingdom of God in East Africa by creating Christ-centered communities. So again, hang on, it's a bumpy ride.
Hello, my name's Missionary Adel Cleopa, the National Director of Break the Circle Global in East Africa. I'm in charge of Christian Montessori schools in Kenya. We have schools in Mabatini, Mathare, the second largest slums in Kenya. We also have the second school in Ruma, the neighboring slum, and we have another one in Samburu, Suradoro, with the aim of making all this to be a standard schools giving excellent education with Christian background.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So if he seemed a little distracted, there's a cow. You'll keep hearing him. He's coming in. The door is just here. You could almost touch it. And so they're kind of distracted. This is a little girl that we were taking a picture of. She took of us. But these are our pictures of our school that's in Mathare. And somebody was commenting, here you can see there are just 10 structures, and that's what we have also. But we were able to buy one last year after our dessert night last year, and we need to buy, there's 2 more units, and then we'll have a footprint that over some time we'll be able to build a better building. Somebody asked about the uniforms, and reality is that they are purchasing their own uniforms now, and we're back to Osborne.
My name's Ambassador Osborne Odipo. I'm a son of God and a message of reconciliation based in Osenge at the beaches. I've been equipped by the teachings from our brother John Kellogg, and I've been equipped to also equip others so that through the equipped we reach the unreached, to also make them sons of God. God bless you as you pray with us.
So a sweet thing with Osborne is his father and my father used to minister together in Kenya. And now the 2 of us are ministering together. So as you can see, it's a fishing village on Lake Victoria. A lot going on. I wish we had time tonight to talk more about it. But we have a lot of work there with some orphans that the area is just it's a lot of HIV.
My name is Isaiah Demironi. I'm in Isuradoro Mission Center, and then I'm preaching to the desert for making a holistic gospel to the pastorals. Thank you.
This is Isaiah, who I've been living with. He doesn't say a lot, but he's an amazing guy. He's a founding elder of this area. These are the kids, and that's the little building that we have been using. And this is them ministering. So every month, they try to go 1 week into the interior and minister in the very hardship areas. And the group that go are very respected because they were very horrible men. They were feared warriors even among their own communities, and now they're believers. And so they have great testimony. This is me with a group of elders This was the chairman. He passed away this last March, but he really helped us and gave us favor in that area.
My name is John Jama Letipo, and then my job is to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ for the people to receive him, and then I have also a big burden of teaching them to obey and then to stand biblically as good Christians in their life. Because Jesus is approaching, Jesus is coming soon, so let us change the Samburu people and other areas beyond us to be Christians. So when Jesus comes, he will come to together as we are ready and we have many fruits to
Amen.
this heavenly kingdom.
Amen.
Yeah, that's my vision. Yeah.
So that's Jama, and he was the first pastor that I met and began working with. And he's the one that said, no one will go with me into the desert to take the gospel. And I felt like the Lord said, I have sons in the desert, but who will tell them about me so they can know and find me? So we began, that's when we went into the desert together, and then we were given that 5 acres. So this is just ministering out in that area. That's our church building. So if you remember, this is the vehicle God gave us, the first one, and it's a 109, Land Rover 109, and it's before they started putting in coil springs. So I tell people God made leaf springs to keep axles from breaking and coil springs to keep backs from breaking. And we didn't have any coil springs. So this year, thanks to Dick Hall and Kip Foster, they provided money for me to buy a Land Cruiser, new to me Land Cruiser, and it holds 9 people. Now, again, where we live, I take people on game drives, so it has the top-up pop in the back so people can stand and take pictures, and it has coil springs. Yeah, so I drove that thing like crazy, and it's just a beautiful thing. It's really changed the ability to minister there. So next I wanted to speak about a group called Hands of Care. There's a gentleman named Mark who I met. He lives here in the Burlington area, and I met him in country here because a pastor said, hey, I've got somebody I think you might want to meet. So I met him maybe 3 months ago, I think 2.5, and found out that he has this ministry called Hands of Care, and they drive these audacious Bedfords out into remote areas and do medical clinics, and they're all local people. It's all Kenyan people that are doing the ministry. So he said, wow, you're in Samburu? We had a clinic scheduled in Samburu in September, but the pastor we were going to work with kind of flaked out. And so I said, well, we're in Samburu. Well, you can, if you're all dressed up and know where to go, come on up our way. And so sure enough, within weeks after I'd met him, I flew back to Samburu, and they came up and did a medical clinic. And so you can see some of the pictures of the clinic.
Yeah, so here we are.
This sweet lady.
With, Hands of Care, and they're helping so many of our community. It's our very first day, so in the morning we have some people coming, but we'll be here for 3 more days. So we think as the awareness grows in the community, so will the people. But we thank God for Hands of Care. Yes.
So they came, and we were 4 days, I think it was, and we saw over 700 people in from our area. And so these people are walking, and every day they would come from further and further because they found out not only did we have people that were checking them out and seeing what the problem was, but we actually had medication to help. And in my area, it's a long story, but bottom line is most of the clinics don't have meds because they've been sold elsewhere for more money. So, yeah, so that was a beautiful, huge thing because the community now looks, and their ministry is to say, hey, we were invited here by John Kellogg and Break the Cycle Global. And so they really lift up the local ministry. Their goal is to help us have more favor and reach within the community. So it was an incredible time, and they want to come back this next year. So now what I want to do is kind of step back to the beginning, and this is just a fun little video of when I first went there and we drove into the desert. Our bikes were so loaded and this was so loose, you can just see the dust, that we'd have to literally push them up the hill. We were carrying our water and gas and tents, food. So we had 3 bikes, so we'd have to take turns running each other up and down different areas. It was quite an adventure. But because of that, we were then given the 5 acres in Suradoru, where we were able to begin the ministry there. They said, if you'll stay with us, we'll give you 5 acres. So from there, this is another old Land Rover I had bought earlier, and you can see it's a bit weighted, but this is the group, I call them my desert warriors, and they go out about a week a month. And I was traveling with them, but it became apparent that, all of the folks in this organization are all Kenyan except for myself. And there's some challenges when I go. People see somebody from an American and they think, oh, it just kind of changes the whole dynamics. But when these guys go on their own, what they see are men that they feared before, but know that there's something different now, and their testimony is what's heard, not people seeing me. So what I've really seen is that the work there has been a lot for me to learn over these last years. We've been there 10 years now. And by traveling into the interior and working with them, I learned much about the culture, what they were running into, and so I'm better equipped to help teach them, train them, and understanding what they're going through. Now, in the next slide, you'll see that this is showing some of the work that when they go into the interior, and it will typically would meet under a tree or in a manada, an area with a lot of bandas around. And then in the next picture, what you're going to see is one of those Bedfords. So Mark, the brother who has Hands of Care, said, John, we have an extra one of these that we would love for you to begin using for your desert ministry. So instead of that overloaded, broken down Land Cruiser you saw with packed to the gill, we're being given the use of this vehicle. And you can see it holds, I can't remember, 12 people, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, more than that. Seats are up on the upper part, and the lower part can be loaded with gear and food. We try to carry food in if we can. That's why that Land Rover was so weighted. And so we're just so thankful that the Lord, this has been the year of partnerships. And so this is a partnership that just came. We worked together in Kenya, but we met here and live about 15 minutes apart. It's just amazing how the Lord does that. So that's an exciting new venture. And it's one of the things that you'll see on the cards because it costs about $1,000 to fuel, maintain, buy the food and everything that we need. The gas there is like here where it's just gone really high. And so that's one of the things that we ask for. I think it's an incredible ministry because they're going into the hardest of hard in this area, and they love to do it. I've not been able to provide as much sometimes as others, and they call me and say, hey, we're headed. What do you mean? Well, God is the one that told us to go in every month. We've committed a week, so whether you have anything to help us or not, we'll sell a chicken, a goat, or whatever, and they go. And I just appreciate their heart. That's a big deal when you see people doing it and you're not giving them something. They're just saying, oh no, this God is the one that told us to do this, and we're going to go whether you can help or not. So last February, there was a group that came and visited me, the director, and many of you may know Andy Lamb. He's been a doctor for years in the Burlington area, just an incredible guy. And he heard what I was doing. They were going to be in Africa with GHO, Global Health Organization. And so the director and Andy came to our camp on, I think it was February, and they said, this is one of the best fits we've ever seen for our ministry to support you and what you're doing here. And we're gonna plan to have a trip. Well, when I was flying back last Tuesday, I got an email or a text from Trish saying that, hey, we're all booked up and ready to come. We've got doctors, we've got a dentist, we've got a hygienist, we've got a sonogram machine and somebody that can come and read that. We're bringing an optician to do glasses, not just for reading, but actually for distance. Well, the people in the community where I work they won't even understand what those things are. So it's just a beautiful thing that they're coming. I think this was I thought it would be good just to play this video quickly.
Global Health Outreach sends short-term trips to places like El Salvador, the DR, Africa, Nicaragua, Honduras, and around the world.
It just totally changed my perspective on medicine and how you should give back to others, because we've been blessed with this profession that we can help others. They're so appreciative of prayers and the medication you give them too. It's so worth it.
You know, if you have limited time or limited vacation and you feel that you want to serve using your skills, I think coming on this trip is really easy. Just plug right in and just hit the ground running.
God as a focus. He permeates everything about this trip. He's just in it at all times, and it really shows me that there is a way to live out your faith and do what you love at the same time.
I believe that going on these trips makes me a better doctor in a lot of ways. It helps me to remember the reason that I went into medicine in the first place, which is to love and serve and connect with people.
Your walk with the Lord will grow significantly. Your trust in Him will deepen, your prayer life will deepen.
I just am so encouraged that the Lord has started bringing these different partnerships together. I mean, in 10 years, and then all of a sudden this year we had Hands of Care come, and we've now got Global Health Organization, and all coming to support the ministry in this area. Another group that I want to mention is Stage Solutions, and the Lord, through Charlie, who's here tonight, Charlie, brought us in relationship with a group called Stage. Sam is the CEO there, and a gentleman named Garrett and Bryna, and they have helped us. And the hard part, I haven't been in country, so it's been very difficult. There's an 8-hour time difference, right? So when they're trying to have a meeting here for me to get in, it's like a small window. But they are a group that helps businesses scale. And they have decided, Charlie shared with them the work that we're doing, and they have decided that they wanted to come alongside us and help us as an organization really begin to develop and grow on this side of the pond. There's been a lot of work done in Kenya, but on this side, this is the time for this to happen, and the Lord just brings the right people and the right partnerships along at the right time, obviously. And so we're just so appreciative. They helped us sort of get all the pieces together for tonight, and it was been a real learning experience of process and procedures. But the cool thing is they've done it in a way that it's duplicatable. So now every quarter we're going to be able to do not necessarily a gathering like this, but something, an intentional point of connecting with our community, both really here in the U.S. and abroad. So we're really appreciative of that partnership, and they have committed that they want. In fact, they've already scheduled meetings for after this. So one is like, okay, how did it go? What do we need to do? But then it's, okay, now where do we head together? So I believe, again, God is just bringing partnerships together to help us move. I was telling someone earlier, I feel like a teenager, you know. My pants are like up to here, and it's like it's time. We've outgrown ourselves, and now we're at a point where where we can catch up. So we're real appreciative for Stage and all that they have done, and have committed to do with us. What I want to do now is go, this picture here is one of the first pictures I took in Kenya. And this is, or in Uganda, in East Africa. And this little gaggle of kids started following me. I was walking with a leader down a trail. And that's when I felt like the Lord, you know, when I went, I was saying, Lord, what is it that you want me to do? What is the mission? What is my assignment in East Africa? And I felt like that's where our name, Break the Cycle Global, comes from, is I felt like He said, I want to break the cycle of poverty in some specific areas, and I want to bring a kingdom of God culture. And so I said, well, how do you do that? And He said, you see these kids? If you'll breathe destiny and purpose into the 3 to 5-year-olds, in 15 years, they'll be the 18 to 20-year-olds, and they'll change their culture from the inside out. So I was like, wow, okay. And then, of course, I had to ask, so how do you do that? You know, I know all you guys had it figured out, but I'm a little bit slow. So he said, well, you start a school. So that began our starting these schools. Now, this one was a by-accident school. And what I mean is, I saw a lady teaching under a tree, and she had a fire going and some porridge going, and about 30 little 3 to 5, 6-year-olds running around. But she was teaching them on a board, and I watched her for a while. Well, when we were given this 5 acres, I felt like the Lord said to offer, well, why don't we build a small community center? And the chief and elders were like, oh, cool. So we had this little building. I saw these children under the tree in the weather, and so I said, well, why don't you come use the building? And of course, by the next morning, the communities decided, John started a new school. And so we started a new school, and with no intention and no budget or anything. Well, because of the drought and famine the last 4 years, now almost 5, it's grown to 125 kids. And so we now have about 250 children in Mathare. The next picture, this is the school that we've had the longest, and it's actually been converted and is a Montessori school, and we have the ability to train local women to be certified as teachers. And so now between the two schools, we have about 250 children. Well, those of you that know me and have tracked, which some of you have been from the beginning, when I was in Kenya last June, I was there from January 1st to about the middle of June. And towards the end, I just said, Lord, I know you had us start these 2 schools, but it's just too much. I don't have the resources anymore. They need so much more than I feel like I'm able to offer, and I don't know what to do. And so if you have somebody, this is not my identity, these schools, so if you've got a ministry that could take these schools on and that could better resource them so the children have a better opportunity, then please show me who that is. Well, often I think when I start talking to the Lord, he just starts this because he knows, like, okay, John, go ahead. And then at the end, he's like, no, that wasn't my plan. I wanted you to start this, so I've got this. So I came back, and again, this has been over years. I came back, and within, I think, days, if just a week or so, Margaret, who's in the Margaret Wave, Margaret is the missions director at St. Mark's, and a great support and help. And she said, John, I've got somebody I think you need to meet. I'm like, well, who's that? His name's Jason Bentley with OneChild. And I said, well, what's that? So I began doing a little research and had the opportunity then to meet Jason. If you want to come, and there's a microphone right there, to meet Jason. And he was kind enough to have lunch with me, and I was able to share with him sort of my heart about these schools and what God had done, but just the challenge that I was facing, and partnerships. Again, I just thank God in His amazing timing. This has been the year of partnerships for us. So Jason, part of Jason's story I'll tell, and then I'd like you to talk to us about what it is that you do. But I met with him because of what I had heard is called OneChild. Part of what impressed me about Jason is he, as a pastor, had adopted the same partnership and worked with OneChild, but then later came into a position where he now talks to people like churches and myself about this opportunity. So can you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Well, good evening, everyone. It is such a joy to be here. So nice to meet all of you. And I just want to begin tonight by publicly thanking and honoring John and Break the Cycle and all of you that have been partnering with him as well as with other organizations to make a difference in the world and to break the cycle, to end extreme global poverty. And I want you to know here tonight that you are doing an amazing work. Do you know that in 1981, 52% of the world was considered to be in extreme poverty? By the time we got to 2005, after many years of people like you with passion and compassion, by the time we arrived to 2005, that number had been reduced to 26%. In 2005, only 26% of the world was in extreme poverty. And from 2005 until now, 2023, we have reduced the amount of people in extreme poverty by 80%. So I think you guys need to give yourself a hand, give John Kellogg a hand. That is a significant thing that we have been able to accomplish together. People like John, organizations like Break the Cycle, OneChild, and then just normal, everyday people like you who recognize it is our responsibility to leave a legacy in the world. So again, my name is Jason Bentley, and I work with the organization OneChild. And OneChild is an ever-growing global community of child champions that is local church focused, local church fueled to take hope to children in the hard places by providing them with holistic child development. And what that looks like is meeting their practical, physical, and spiritual needs, specifically providing them with food, education, medical health and wellness, social development, and the most important piece, faith enrichment, discipleship. OneChild began in the late 1950s by a missionary couple called the Buntains. And it originally started as a focus entirely in the country of India, specifically in Calcutta, India. And as years passed, the missionary couple, they did an amazing work, and it was time for them to kind of retire and step off the scenes, but they were visionaries, and they knew that they wanted their work to continue to go forward with even greater success. And so they kind of transitioned away from a single missionary leading the organization model, and they adopted more of like a board of directors model. And when the board of directors took over the organization, they decided on a couple of very crucial things. They decided, number one, that the organization was going to do more than just focus on Calcutta, India. And from that decision, OneChild is now in 17 countries around the world. Not only did they decide that they were going to expand their focus and their impact from Calcutta to other places, they wanted to be able to reach and help more children than ever before. And as a result of that, at this point in time, OneChild is providing holistic development to over 50,000 children globally. Wow. How we work in the 17 countries, and this has been the historical way that we have worked. In the 17 countries, you will find what we call hope centers. Hope centers are connected to local churches that are in communities in Latin America, in the Middle East, in Africa, and in Asia. These hope centers are connected to a local church, and children from the community go to that hope center / local church to receive their holistic development. The powerful thing about that is not only are kids receiving hope and holistic development, but we're also aiding church planting and church growth because the families of these kids are seeing the local church being the hope of the world, and the families end up coming to the churches, receiving Jesus, and God's church grows, and we are so thankful for that. In fact, I would love for you to take a look at what a typical Hope Center looks like and kind of what happens and what's been happening with OneChild since the late 1950s. Check it out.
Welcome to Malindi, Kenya. We are here at one of our many Hope Centers in this region, and today we have a special treat for you. I want to introduce you to Grace.
Hi everyone, welcome to my Hope Center.
Grace is going to take us on a tour of a Hope Center and introduce us to all of her friends and the champions that serve here. Grace, are you ready?
Yes, follow me.
All right, let's go, let's go.
And so we're changing the world like this by connecting people like you who have a heart for kids in extreme poverty. We connect them to children somewhere in the world through sponsorship. And many of you might be familiar with organizations like Compassion International or World Vision. OneChild works within the same space as them, but we have a profoundly different kind of way of going about it. But within the sphere of child sponsorship that OneChild, Compassion International, World Vision has been doing, not much has changed over the last 100 years. There has not been very much innovation that's taken place. If you've ever been to a Christian concert, someone's going to get up on a stage, show you a sad picture of a child in poverty and try to get you to sponsor that child. And if you say yes, then you'll get some information about them and you'll pass letters back and forth. And I can tell you that in order to facilitate that, it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of expense. And there has not been much innovation within this sphere for over 100 years, and that is until now. We at OneChild have been led over the last couple years by a brilliant visionary by the name of Dr. Scott Todd. Scott Todd was a celebrated virologist and immunologist at Stanford University, destined for fame and fortune in the scientific research sector. When he left all of that behind and abandoned that to pursue his small personal vision, which is completely eradicating extreme global poverty. You know, no big deal, something just small. Maybe he'll have it done by dinner time. And as he has been leading us, he, with the vision that God put on his heart, thought, what could we do as an organization that could radically transform the way that we provide holistic child development, the way that we connect people with children globally? How can we reduce the amount of work? How can we reduce the cost? How can we make sure that more money ends up to children? And most importantly, how can we connect more effectively and more quickly people here in the United States like you, with a heart, with compassion, with kids in Kenya, in Colombia, in the Philippines? How can we do that? And a brilliant, life-altering development was initiated just a couple of months ago, and it's why we're all here tonight. OneChild was...
Welcome to Malindi, Kenya. We are here at one of our many...
OneChild was able to introduce an app called Bridgely. With the app Bridgely, Dr. Scott Todd thought, my heart is to bring hope to kids in the hard places. And it doesn't matter if it's beneath the compassion flag, the OneChild flag, the break the cycle flag. We just want to change a kid's future. We just want to take hope to hard places. And if we could develop something like Bridgely, we'll be able to do that. We'll be able to find people like John Kellogg and break the cycle, and we will be able to help them do what God has put on their heart. We'll be able to help them do it better, more efficiently, more cheaply. We'll be able to give our decades of expertise along the way. And Bridgely was created, so check this out. This video will tell you a whole lot more than I can.
I want our community to break free from poverty.
I just want people to care and get involved.
I want to make a difference.
I want to see lasting positive change, true transformation.
I want to be a part of something that's real, that matters.
What if we created meaningful relationships across cultures? What problems could we solve? What joys could we experience together? You know, the world is broken and people feel isolated and disconnected, but it doesn't have to be this way. People are coming together and joining causes that matter. At Bridgely, we believe in the bridge builders, the people who create relationships and understanding, courageous people who take action to advance great causes. Bridgely helps connect and mobilize your cause community, engage your supporters, empower local leaders, and amplify the voices who champion your mission.
Here, I feel hard.
I love seeing the impact and feeling connected.
I've never seen our people engage so deeply and consistently with our mission.
My kids are excited to be a part of our giving now that we're using Bridgely.
Supporters engage directly with local leaders and bring their friends along, unleashing generosity and experiencing impact. Pastors and their church members engage with international ministries they support. Experts give their knowledge to enrich the community. Here we experience the kingdom of God connecting across cultures and continents to end extreme poverty together. The future belongs to the bridge builders. What's your cause?
So now we can together as a community, as the Break the Cycle community or the Trailhead Church community, we can as a community together focus on the children there in Kenya. And rather than write letters that take many, many months to go back and forth, we can post videos and we can, as a community, engage. We can, as a community, support, and it can happen in real time. And so, John, I'm going to turn it back to you so that you can talk a little bit about how this amazing new development can help serve Break the Cycle and what a difference it can make for you.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, I mean, I think you can see where we're headed. This is... Again, for me, tonight was talking about these incredible partnerships along the way with medical groups and with Stage and these people that God has brought to us. One of the things that sold me with Bridgely, it's kind of a personal thing, but sometimes those little things really matter. When I'm in Kenya, there's a friend of mine that's been ministering there for over 30 years, and I respect him. He's an amazing guy. But when he introduces me to people, he says, "Oh, this is John Kellogg. He builds bridges." And so it was just kind of one of those inside things that you go, wow, I come here, and then you meet this group, and Ty says the future is for those who build bridges. So I believe this is a bridge that God has brought for us. And it's very exciting. We spent time right before I left taking videos of the different kids in the school. So we have 250 children, and through Bridgely, we now have an opportunity to present that to church groups, communities. I have a couple Montessori schools that are saying they'd like to be a sister school, so they have a daughter maybe who's 3 or 4 years old, and they say, oh, well, maybe we could have a daughter here that we could support in a school in Kenya, in the slum, and they can watch over the years as they grow together. One of the things that we do is called Bridgely Day, and so the idea is that at least once a month from the school, we create a new, like a 1-minute video of the child. So maybe they're playing soccer, or they're doing a particular school project, or if they're old enough, they may say something. But in return, on this side, you can do a video, and then we have facilitators that look at that to make sure everything's kosher. But then it gives an opportunity for each side to watch the development and to be a part of each other's lives. So one of the really amazing things with Bridgely, and obviously I don't do this a whole lot. I'm a lot more comfortable in the bush than here. But I should have greeted, there are folks that are watching us on YouTube. We have a live stream, and some reached out to me ahead of time and said that's where we're going to be, because they're in other parts of the country as well. So I just want to greet you and thank you for being patient and for being with us. This next piece is something we can all join in. And Jason, I was thinking this would maybe be the time that we could go ahead and help people download. So here's what my ask is tonight. If you have a cell phone and you have a smartphone, what I would like is for you to join our community. Now, what that means is by joining the community, you just get updates about what's going on. It doesn't mean you have to sponsor a child, but it just gets you engaged in our community. And then from there, if there's a time that you feel to sponsor a child, you're free to do that. But along the way, we'll be posting the changes that are happening in the schools and the exciting things that are going on. So to do that, it's very simple. If you can scan this QR code, they're on your table as well. There's a card. If you scan that code once, and here's what we need to do. If you need help with this, Jason is here, and there are others that can help with the process. So if it's a little bit overwhelming, please give an indication. Jason, maybe you can kind of double check with folks at the tables and see how they're doing. But if you scan the code once, no matter whether you have an iPhone, an Apple device, or if you have an Android device, it should take you to the Bridgely app, and it will look like this on the left. You can see the Bridgely. If you click on that and download it, they have Wi-Fi here. You can use it. It's a good Wi-Fi from the Trailhead. Is anybody having a challenge with that? Because it can be a... So here's the deal. When you scan it once, it will allow you to download the app. When you have the app on your phone, if you scan it a second time, it will automatically, I like to say, take you to our cause, or within the app, you can just look for, it has our Break the Cycle Global logo, but it also says Kingdom Living Now School. Jason, maybe you can just kind of, is anybody having a challenge with this or could use a little assistance? We're good? So if you're there and you're comfortable, raise your hand. Oh, snap, that's awesome. And for you online, good luck. I think it's working. So what I'd like to do now then is take a 1-minute break to say, tonight would not have happened without a ton of work from people who did not have time to do a ton more work. And one is my brother Stephen here, my son Jonathan, who's in the back, running all of this stuff, the media. Laura, where is Laura? Laura and Charlie. And they became a little team that worked with stage and sort of really developed everything, trying to put all these pieces together. It's been very humbling. Tonight, Margaret, the director of missions at St. Mark's, who's going to be mad at me because I mentioned her twice, she came tonight and set up all the tables. And when I got here, Joshua, the pastor of Trailhead here, wave your hand. They graciously allowed us to use this facility, but guess who was making the coffee? This has been an incredibly humbling experience for me. Just seeing people that are servants and they just have gotten in and made this happen. So I just wanted to give thanks and appreciation for those that have done so much before we went on. There's on your table, and there'll be a slide at the end, but all the desserts were donated to us by groups. Harris Teeter, It's All Good. I heard they have some good things as well. Nothing Bundt Cakes, and we were just lucky to have any left on the counter. The people that picked them up said that they would not be responsible if they were all consumed before they made it here. And Provident Wealth, Laura, and her contributions, and again, Trailhead, we just appreciate Josh so much, you allowing us to be here. and stage solutions. So I just wanted to, before we move to this next piece, just be sure to recognize some folks, and I imagine I've missed. Oh, Cheryl, raise your hand. She was the picker-up. She's the one who actually went to all these people and said, hey, we have an event going on. Would you mind helping us out? So she is responsible for your sugar high. So I imagine I've missed someone. I apologize, but again, just I appreciate so much everybody's effort. And this, I really believe, things are changing for Break the Cycle Global into the next level. We've laid a solid foundation in the last 10 years in Kenya. We've got a lot of ministry going on. Now I believe God is bringing, and it's just obvious, He's bringing partnerships with different groups, different churches, different ministries to really now take us up to the next level. So my ask is that we'll watch this. There's another video. And then after that video plays, you're going to see videos, small videos, 20-second videos of the children, of some of the children that are available to be sponsored. And so we'll show that afterwards. And so during that time, my ask, after we watch this next video, is that you would just see if in your heart this is something that you could help be. It could be a part of your assignment to help us in our assignment. And it's very easy to go through and pick a child and just click sponsor. And then every month, it's a $44 help towards that child's education. And it's the answer. I 100% believe that God, that, you know, people use the word coincidence, and I like to say a coincidence is appearing to be a random act of God's intentionality. He meant it all along. Just to us, it seemed like, oh, wow. So I believe meeting with Jason, I had the chance to go to the corporate headquarters and meet with Dr. Scott and Ty and a lot of other folks, Megan, Crawford, that have helped us put this together in a very quick time. So if you would, watch this video, and then we'll have an opportunity where you can actually go to the next step with your app. And if you feel so led tonight, we can go ahead and begin sponsoring some of our kids. Thanks.
My Hope Center. A place where I can be who I am. Where people care. A place I can dream.
Iya kura tototo kwenda skuli naanze iya tototo kugaziga tototo kurisambuzi kurima haya ndo akaanzwa ni ukongo mwanza cho kila sichafunga mwanzo kare kunaenda mwisho ngiri kila sicha nane akikala na homa rero kipingma karimbo la malaria umari kipingma karimbo la malaria anapewa dawa kidhampazi hizo tasikigoma azauya vishi unyena kwala na udhaifu kukala taumwirita ningesiri kwamba wakaanza kufitika haba kifitika kwenda vivyo vivi hata paka kikigulukala kizakomboka vivi na mkono ukikala uvivi kocha hoa kwenda kanisani akizambo so kanisani ni babaye kwa sababu ambaye kutaka kanisani ndo achenda naye kwa mganga hata mara mbili. Rero kwa mganga kala na magiro gari mafuoga kwa mganga ni mwenye nao kwa shindwe katika jina la Yesu. Shindwe katika jina la Yesu.
After trying the 2-week doctors, the family members decided to leave the boy to die at home, having no hope at all. We traveled around 50 kilometers to see him, Samini. We used the motorbikes, and when I reached there, I found that Samini was sick. And true speaking, Samini was not able even to sit and even to stand up.
Ninahoya Mulungu anisaidie ili chochosi nichokala nizapata. Kwa visho beya fichenda takufikira ukala yuyu beda fika mwisho kala nikufa kama riyu tasira lolo andiho zipa ba.
When I saw Sammy lying, my tears were about to come out because we are here to help those children. Child champions can come together and help. By the time we got to the hospital, the child was immobile. He could even not able to walk. And in the hospital, before the operation, his head was swollen. And also, he lost his eyesight. People were praying even in the hospital. He was operated, and thereafter he took 2 months in the hospital. But we thank our Almighty God because God was with Samini, and Samini came back to life again.
Makala manamba hakuna Mulungu arana dima jiru. Tauna hakuna dima ipamba yo mhohanda uya lakini arishwaza uya kuna Mulungu arana dima. She kuna msaidizi areni kuhutwa ni Mulungu. Wope ambao dashindwa akatolera haka sanga sambele. Ninahoya Mulungu anisaidie ili chochosi nichokala nizapata. Wakatoka la Mungu anisaidia nipate utu nimrudishe mwanangu nimanya moyo Yesu.
When you come to the end, you say that this is the end of something. God starts there. Sometimes we can reach a point whereby you have no other place to go. This is the end. You cannot see anything. Then God starts there.
So I really am excited about being a part with this organization. Our values align. They're interested in a holistic gospel and in reaching into a child's life in a spiritual way, but also meeting physical, nutritional, emotional, helping them in community. And so I just was really impressed to find another group that we just had the same outlook on ministering to children. So I would ask at this point, it's 8:38, we're a little bit past, if you would consider taking a look at if there's a child you can sponsor tonight. I know that some of you came prepared maybe for something different that you would like to give just into the ministry for the other things that we're doing and on a monthly basis and or a one-time gift. And so for that, you can go to Break the Cycle Global, and we can help you with that. In fact, there's a card on your table that will help you to get to that link. So it's a different link for just a one-time gift or a recurring gift of a larger amount for the ministry. And then if you have a check or if you would like to support us otherwise, again, there's a card on your table that you can fill out. I would love to have a coffee with everyone who's here tonight. I'll be here for the next few months. This is my goal is by the end of this year to have sponsored all 125 kids in our Mathari school, and then we'll start on the Samburu school in January. So I'm believing that by the end of first quarter of next year, that our schools will be funded. And that's just an amazing, to go from June where I'm like, Lord, what do we do, to seeing a way forward is it's just real exciting. So again, if you would like to have coffee, please put your information on the card and then use that. There's a manila envelope on each table, and we'll collect those at the end. Thank you so much for being here. It just encourages me every time I get with other people who are like-minded and wanting to advance the kingdom of God, and see that that can be done not just on a stage, but also by developing and working in community. Again, the mission of Break the Cycle Global is to create Christ-centered communities. So thank you so much for being here, both online and here in the room. And I have a feeling there may be a few more desserts if you want to take something home. Is that true, Laura? Yeah, so please make a sweep through the bar and make sure all of that's gone, or Josh is going to have to take it home, and that could be a problem. All right, thank you. God bless you. Bye for now.
I am teacher Nancy Mbunza from Madare Mabatini. Mabatini means a place with tin houses. With me here I have Angela Lima. Angela Lima is 5 years old, and when she grows up she would like to be a saloonist. She's available for sponsorship if you consider her. Say hi, Alima.
Here with me is Angel Nandutu. Angel Nandutu is 7 years old and she would like to be a doctor. Angel Nandutu is available for sponsorship. Angel, say hi.
With me here is Andrew Daniel. He's 7 years old. When he grows up, he would like to be a pastor. Andrew, say hi.
With me is Ashley Margaret. Ashley Margaret is 7 years old and she would like to be a saloonist when she grows up. Ashley Margaret is available for sponsorship. Ashley, say hi. It's Carolina. Carolina is 4 years old. She would like to be a teacher when she grows up. Will you please consider her and help her become a teacher when she grows up? Carolina is available for scholarship. Carolina, say hi. Say hi.
She's called Debra Adongo. Debra Adongo here is 6 years old and she would like to become a nurse when she grows up. Debra, say hi.
Hi. Here I have Esther Missy. She's 5 years old. When she grows up, she wants to become a tailor, to be making clothes like these nice different designs of clothes. If you consider her and sponsor her to become a tailor in future, say hello. Hello.
From Madare Mabatini. Here with me is Eugene Osonko. Eugene is 8 years old and he would like to be a police when he grows up. Eugene, say hi.
Here with me is Festus Mtinda. He is 5 years old. When he grows up, he would like to become a carpenter. If you consider and sponsor him, he's always available. Mtinda, say hi.
Hi. Mabatini. Here with me is Fatuma Magi. Fatuma Magi is 3 years old. She would like to be a teacher when she grows up, just like me. Fatuma Magi is available for sponsorship. Fatima, say hi.
Hi. With me here is Flavian Eli. She's 6 years old. When she grows up, she would like to be a saloonist. She's also available for sponsorship. Flavian, say hi.
10 houses. And here with me is Fren Omondi. Fren Omondi likes driving toy cars, so he would like to be a driver when he grows up, and he's available for scholarship. Friends, say hi. Hi. And here I have a child. He is called Galvin Achayo. Galvin Achayo would like to become a potter when he grows up. If there's consideration for sponsorship, he's available. Galvin, say hi.
Hope Chanel. Hope Chanel, she's 4 years old. When she grows up, she would like to become a nurse. She's available for scholarship. If you consider her for sponsorship, say hi, Chanel. Hi.
Here with me is Jared Agura. Jared Agura is 8 years old and he would like to be a plumber when he grows up. Jared Agura is available for sponsorship. Jared, say hi.
Hi. A boy called Jordan Akuzimena and he is 7 years old. Jordan wants to become a plumber when he grows up. He's available for scholarship. Say hi.
With me here is Lisa Mary. She's 5 years old. When she grows up, she would like to be a banker. She's also available for sponsorship. Lisa Mary, say hi.
We have Lexus Kivindi. Lexus Kivindi is 6 years old and he wants to become a doctor when he grows up. Victor, say hi. Hi. He's available for scholarship.
Here with me, she's Margaret Cheyenne. She's 5 years old. When she grows up, she would like to become an author. If you consider her for sponsorship, she's available. Cheyenne, say hi.
From Madare Mabatini. Here with me is Marianne Nekesa. She is 4 years old and she would like to be a teacher when she grows up. Marianne is available for sponsorship. Marianne, say hi.
From Madare Mabatini. With me here is Nobel Wafula. He's 6 years old. When he grows up, he would like to be a businessman. He's also available for scholarship. Wafula, say hi.
And here with me is Mudin Ayub. Mudin Ayub is 3 years old, and when he grows up, he'd like to become a pastor. Mudin here is available for sponsorship. Mudin, say hi. Hi.
With me here is Nobel Wafula. He's 6 years old. When he grows up, he would like to be a businessman. He's also available for scholarship. Wafula, say hi.
Here with me is Pedro Omondi. He's 5 years old. When he grows up, he would like to become a farmer. If you consider him for sponsorship, he's available. Pedro, say hi. Hi. Hi.
I have a child. She's called Patricia Akini. She's 6 years old, and Patricia Akini would like to become a nurse when she grows up. She's available for scholarship if you consider her. Patricia, say hi.
Madare Mabatini. Here with me is Philip Animai. Philip is 9 years old and he would like to be engineer when he grows up. Philip is available for sponsorship. Philip, say hi.
Here with me is Prince Jackson. He's 5 years old. When he grows up, he would like to become a mechanic. If you consider and sponsor him, he's always available. Prince Jackson, say hi.
From Madare Mabatini. Here with me is Ramian Biji. He is 5 years old. Ramian would like to be a surveyor when he grows up. Ramian is available for sponsorship. Ramian, say hi. Hi.
With me here is Prince Manoa. Prince Manoa is 3 years old, and when he grows up, he would like to become a footballer. And Prince here is available for sponsorship. Prince, say hi. Hi.
Benita Wanjala. I am with Richard Goodluck. He's 5 years old. When he grows up, he wants to become a lawyer. If you consider him to become a lawyer in future, I will appreciate that. Say hello. Hello.
Madare Mabatini. Here with me is Simon Wesonga. He's 6 years old. Simon Wesonga would like to be a driver when he grows up. Will you please help him to become a driver when he grows up? Simon Wesonga is available for scholarship. Simon, say hi.
Ronnie Ocheme is a 7 years old boy, and he wants to be a mechanic when he grows up. He's available for scholarship. Ronnie, say hi.
Here with me is Samson Dinde. He is 5 years. Samson would like to be a welder when he grows up. Samson is available for sponsorship. Samson, say hi. Hi.
He's called Seth Adandi. He's 5 years old, and when he grows up, he would like to become a businessman. Seth here is available for sponsorship. Seth, say hi. Hi.
Madare Mabatini. Here with me is Shanton Bahati. He is 7 years old. Shanton would like to be an engineer when he grows up. Shanton, say hi.
Here with me is Chantel Deborah. She's 6 years old. When she grows up, she would like to become a cashier. If you consider her for sponsorship, she's available. Say hi. Hi.
And here with me is Taya Kabuya. And when she grows up, she'd like to become a farmer because she's from Uganda. She's a Uganda, and she's available for scholarship. Taya, say hi. Hi.
Steve Daniel is available for scholarship, so will you consider him to be a doctor when he grows up? Steve, say hi.
She's called Tyra Labusa. She's 4 years old, and when she grows up, she'd like to become a chef. And Tyra here is available for sponsorship. Tyra, say hi. Hi. Say hi. Hi.
Madare Mabatini. Here with me is Victor Mutunga. Victor Mutunga is 7 years old, and he would like to be a driver when he grows up. Victor Mutunga is available for sponsorship. Victor, say hi. Hi. Here with me is Vincent Omondi. He is 4 years old. Vincent would like to be a mason when he grows up. Vincent is available for sponsorship. Vincent, say hi. Say hi.
Yes.
Hi, me is Wesley Mudweri. He is 4 years old. He would like to be a mason when he grows up. So will you please consider him to be a mason when he grows up? Wesley is available for sponsorship. Wesley, say hi. Here with me is Cedric Odhiambo. Cedric Odhiambo is 8 years old and he would like to be a pilot. When you consider him and help him to be a pilot, Cedric is available for sponsorship. Cedric, say hi.